I still don't know why I came back to England that autumn. After 10 years in the States, Boston first, then a string of dead-end jobs in Seattle and Portland, I thought I'd shaken the mud of Devon off my boots for good. But when Gran died and left me the old cottage on the edge of Dartmoor, something pulled me home. The estate agent called it charming. I called it isolated. 2 miles from the nearest village, Princetown, and nothing but rolling tors, ancient stone circles, and mist for company. The cottage sat low against the hill, slate roof sagging, windows like tired eyes. Inside, it smelled of damp peat and old paper. Gran's things were still everywhere. Faded photographs of her younger self standing beside American GIs during the war. Yellowed letters postmarked from places like New York and Chicago. A cracked teacup from a diner in Boston she'd kept like treasure. She'd fallen in love with one of them, apparently, a soldier named Eddie, who promised to take her across the Atlantic. He never came back for her. She waited anyway. I arrived in late October when the moor starts closing in. The days were short, the fog thick enough to swallow sound. My first night I tried to sleep. That's when I heard it. Not wind, not sheep. A low murmur like someone speaking just words I couldn't catch. I sat up, heart already kicking. The cottage was old, built in the 1700s, Gran used to say, but I'd never heard anything like that growing up. I blamed jet lag, threw another log on the fire, and went back to bed. The next morning, the fog hadn't lifted. It pressed against the windows like wet wool. I walked into Princetown for supplies, milk, bread, a bottle of something strong. "You're Ellen's grandson," the woman behind the counter said. Not a question. "Staying up at the cottage, then?" I nodded. She hesitated. "Mind the fog. It plays tricks. People hear things." I laughed it off, but her eyes followed me out the door. That evening, the murmuring returned. Clearer this time. A woman's voice, soft, pleading. Still waiting. I froze in the kitchen, kettle in hand. It was coming from the hearth, the old Inglenook fireplace Gran always kept. But the voice drifted up again, faint as breath. "Eddie, come back." My skin crawled. Eddie, the American soldier. I backed away, slammed the little iron door shut, and turned the radio up loud. Spent the days walking the moor, boots sinking into sphagnum, trying to outrun the restlessness that had followed me from Seattle. One afternoon, I found myself near Wistman's Wood, that twisted dwarf oak forest everyone says is haunted. The fog was thicker there, curling between the moss-covered branches like fingers. I took a photo on my phone and sent it to my old roommate in Portland. She replied instantly, "Creepy as hell. You okay out there alone?" I typed yes before I felt the lie. Nights were worse. The voice grew insistent. No longer just murmuring, it spoke in fragments as if talking to someone else in the room with me. He promised, "New York, the lights on Broadway." I'd wake suddenly, convinced someone was sitting at the end of the bed. A week in, I found Gran's old trunk in the attic. I'd avoided it before, too many memories, but curiosity won. Inside were bundles of letters tied with faded ribbon, all from Eddie, postmarks from Fort Devens, Massachusetts, then from England during the war. The last one was dated June 1944, just before D-Day. "Wait for me, Ellen. When it's over, we'll go to Chicago, see the lake, start fresh." There was no next letter. He never came home. That night, the fog rolled in heavier than I'd ever seen. It erased the moor entirely. I couldn't see the gate from the window. The fire sputtered, and then the voice wasn't in the hearth anymore. It was behind me, close. "He's not coming," it whispered, sad and bitter. "They never do." I spun around. Nothing, but the air felt thick like someone had just passed through the room. Fled outside, needing air, needing distance. The fog swallowed me instantly. I couldn't see the path. My phone had no signal. Dartmoor eats reception. I walked blindly, heart hammering, telling myself I'd find the road to Princetown. Minutes stretched, the ground turned boggy underfoot, and then I heard it again. Not inside anymore, but out there with me. The same woman's voice calling softly through the mist. "Eddie?" I stopped. That wasn't my imagination. It was real, coming from somewhere ahead. I followed it, stupidly, because fear flips a switch sometimes. The voice grew clearer, anguished. "You said forever?" My boot struck something hard. I knelt, hands sinking into cold mud, and felt stone. A low wall, half buried. I scraped away moss. Letters carved deep. E+E 1943. The fog shifted suddenly, just enough to reveal shapes around me. I wasn't on the moor anymore. I was in the ruins of an old settlement, foundations of cottages long gone, and there, in the center, stood a figure. Pale, motionless, dressed in a coat too thin for the weather. A woman facing away, long hair dark with damp. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. She turned slowly. Her face was Gran's, but younger, the way she looked in those wartime photos. Eyes hollow, lips blue. "He never came back," she said, her voice echoing through her mouth barely moved. "They promised so much." I ran. Blind panic, splashing through bog, lungs burning. I don't know how long. Hours, maybe. A farmer, on his way home from the pub. The next morning, the fog had lifted. The moor looked innocent, almost beautiful. I packed a bag, intending to leave. But when I opened the front door, something lay on the step. A single photograph, edges curled with age. Gran and a young American soldier, arms around each other, smiling in front of this very cottage. Wait for me. I left England that day. I've been back in the States 3 months now. Portland again. New apartment, 12th floor. City noise outside. I thought distance would fix it. But some nights, when the rain hits the windows just right, I hear her. Soft, patient, waiting. Last week, I woke at 3 a.m. to find fog in my bedroom. Thick, impossible fog. And on the wall, in the condensation, someone had written 2 words with a fingertip. Still waiting.